The main themes of this year's budget are balance the books and fairness, but the standout proposal is to abolish the 10% income tax rate, leaving just a flat rate of 20%. I know that's just a proposal at the moment, but can you explain what's behind that?
Well, basically by raising it to the level that we'd like to raise it, we can take over 10,000 people out of the tax net. I don't think it's right that those people who are working and being paid the minimum wage should have a tax liability. So if I can free them from that tax liability, it's going to leave more pounds, as it were, in their pocket. And also, too, from our point of view, it'll mean that we'll need less staff to administer the tax system. So that will enable us to devote resources to ensure that everybody who should be paying is paying.
And the obvious question then is, why not do that this year?
It's a very good question. I don't have the resources to do it this year, and it's important to recognise that the building blocks I'm putting in place this year will enable us to do it next year. If this year's budget is unsuccessful, if I don't get it through, then I will not be able to deliver next year. Part of it really is cash flow. We've altered the taxation rate on income from land and property, and 2 years ago we brought in the tax on the bigger retailers' profits on the island. Now that's just starting to kick in now. So when we start to increase the personal allowance in 2016-17, we will have the money there to do it. And I don't think anybody would expect us to do something that we couldn't afford to do. And I feel that by that time we will be able to afford to do it.
To do that, and you say you'll increase that personal tax allowance level, but there will be people, won't there, who were paying 10% who will be expected to pay 20%. Where do you draw the line?
Well, at the moment we're getting some figures ran through our computer systems to see exactly where we need to draw the line so that nobody will be any worse off. Now, I anticipate it's going to be over £14,000. That's on the advice I've received so far. But we will be able to do a full analysis, and this is part of the consultation we're doing. We're not actually going out and saying, we think it's right, we're going to do it. We're going to consult, but we think it's a good, sensible proposal for the way forward.
Now, you're talking about fairness in this budget and that you're going to be reviewing the benefits system. So more money for carers, but the child benefit threshold will be lowered.
That's right. It's got to be lowered to £60,000. So we feel that's fair, bearing in mind that it's substantially in excess of the median income on the island anyway. And it does give us the ability to target our resources better. But the very substantial increase in the carers allowance from £63 to £112, 83% increase, represents the value, I think, or an acknowledgement of the value that carers play in our society. It's a very difficult role for them, and I've long felt that role should be acknowledged. So I've managed to find the money to do that. It's going to cost £850,000, but I think it's money well spent.
Now, you say that you're rebalancing the budget this year, but there are only so many more cuts you can make to services and charges that you can impose. So yeah. How are you achieving this?
Well, basically it's up to my Tynwald colleagues now to decide what's essential and what's nice to do and what we can do without. So we'll be having that debate with our Tynwald colleagues to determine the way forward. This isn't something that government could, should or would want to make on their own. We've got to bring as many people with us as possible. But what I would say is we have to make decisions. We cannot duck and dive, bob and weave, and hoping that will go away. It's here and now. It must be dealt with now.
Now, another point is that you've been reducing the number of civil servants. Some people might say not by enough, but you have made the point that a lot of those people are in the front line, they're frontline services, nurses, teachers.
That's right, because we announced last year that we were going to increase the number of nurses at Nobles by, I think, 30. Well, that has to be set against our overall headcount. So I think really that we've made very substantial savings. We've reduced by 640 the number of headcount people on our payroll, as it were, since 2010. And we intend to do more wherever we can. We're going to keep tight control over our wages and salary bill, and every time the salaries goes up, it puts somebody else's job in jeopardy.
And finally, can I ask you what's the latest position on the VAT revenue sharing?
We've collected all the data, and that's been shared with the UK, and I'd like to thank everybody who contributed to that data collection exercise. We are currently having discussions with them at officer level, but with the impending UK general election, I don't think we get an answer before then.